Hey there, it's Jax
guys.
from Crazy Squirrel Games and
Calvin.
Yeah, from Next Gen Escape Room. We're here with Shop Talk, where we do random things and talk a little shop.
Let's talk shop.
Let's talk shop.
So, I have something I want to talk about.
Okay.
I have always been enamored by the big three. I think in retailers, for board game retailers, that is typically going to be what I would think would be D&D, Warhammer, and finally Magic the Gathering. Possibly a fourth category of board games. I don't know if you feel, is that still true? This is what I grew up on, my understanding of the retail landscape of board gamers. What do you think about that?
So when we opened 15 years ago, we considered to be a full range game shop. We had four main categories. We had board games, role-playing games like D&D, miniature games like 40K, and card games like Magic and Pokemon. And that, the ratios of how those are in the store are very different now. When we were first open for the first 5 or 6 years, board games was doing more than 25% of our gross sales, which was really good. And we were considered, like, that number was considered pretty good for all game stores. But board games now are like 11% of our overall sales. So we have to, like, you have to change with that as you see it open. It took me a little while to catch on that, like, oh, board game sales are just not doing as well as they should. So we carry fewer board games now, which is, you know, one reason why it's doing lower.
The nature of things.
Yeah, and we've added what we consider a new big category, which is kind of lifestyle things. So soaps and notebooks and stuff like that. But yeah, when somebody comes up and says, hey, I want to open a game store, it is usually told to them that, like, you have to carry Magic because Magic will sell. It's a terrible margin, but it will sell. You're still kind of told you have to carry 40K because it will sell. It's an even, no, it's probably still the same level of terrible margin, but it's gonna sell. But like Pokemon, you can't get English Pokemon. All these new stores opening now and people saying, like, well, why can't I get more Pokemon? It's because we have way too many stores that are doing Pokemon.
There's just such a high demand for it and not enough being printed, or?
Yeah, there's the sense of, like, false scarcity based off of how much the company prints. And then, especially during COVID, some influencers really got into Pokemon and were doing, like, case cracks and stuff online. So then everybody got into Pokemon. And now there's a lot of people who, the term is usually backpack dealers, who they're trying to buy Pokemon at MSRP or less and then sell it for more online, which is another type of human we have to deal with when we're like, hey, no, we're going to put this at market price because we know what you're doing and we feel like we should get a better margin than you. But yeah, there's still some top categories. Like role-playing is it. D&D is going to carry your role-playing department, but so are dice, right? We sell so many dice.
We sell a small selection of dice, and they do really well. Even for people that don't play role-playing games, they still buy them.
Right.
Surprising, but it happens, and I am happy to supply them with their goblin hoarding needs.
Right. We when we go visit other stores, I always buy dice because I'm like, that's kind of my gamer tax for taking up the store's time. So I have collections of dice from various places.
And each one of them has a story to it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's still, there's still kind of the big three, and then you kind of just, like, we have so many full range game stores in town. We've got at least 4 or 5 full range, and we have like 18 card shops in town.
Dang.
So, like, you can no longer live by Magic alone, especially depending on the size of your store. So yeah, it's interesting now when you see new people getting into the game, like what they're choosing to carry. If I were to open a game store in Fresno right now, one, I would question my sanity. Because right now, like, the economy's kind of on a cusp. Fresno already has a lot of game stores.
So what is it that you're adding to the market that you're not necessarily taking away from?
Right.
While I was at the
UVP.
While I was at the Gamma Expo, the unique value proposition, I tried to figure that out with Games Workshop. I've always loved 40K, and damn, that would be really cool to stock it. But I could not figure out any way to slice it, even with the sales rep, of what exactly my escape room would add to the market and not just take away.
Right.
And it's fine that we can cannibalize the market even further and take whatever margin you have away.
Right.
But at the end of the day, what does that really give me? Your words alone, it doesn't give you that much margin on everyone that you sell anyway. So it's just taking up the space of something that could do even better for me. And it's just a lazy approach. Plus, I can always come here and buy whatever Warhammer stuff I want. So
yeah, and now in town, there's like 5 places you can go buy whatever.
You got
Warhammer
options.
stuff.
There's a dealership you can buy it from. Frustratingly
Yeah, in
enough.
Visalia. Yeah, yep. There's a literal car dealership, like half an hour from here, that has their, I forget what they call it, but they sell Games Workshop, so 40K and AOS. They sell Magic and they sell Pokemon. And then when people are like, why can't I get more Pokemon allocation for my store? Well, the Visalia dealership definitely needs
eaten
them.
up. Oh yeah, needs it.
Right?
Needs it to operate.
And Pokemon USA just did a big deal with GameStop. So now GameStops are getting a lot of those boxes. So like figuring out what your top categories are gonna be, I think at the beginning, you kind of go with what people are telling you, or if you have a special skill set, go that way. Like if I was a really good minis player, I'd go really hard into minis because
Really?
Yeah, because if your staff or you love a game, you will sell more of that game because it's a natural instinct to tell people like, oh, this is amazing, like we use this all the time, or here's how I feel when I play it. We've noticed our mini sales are down because our minis champion in the store graduated, got married, and found a job, which great for him, not great for our mini sales. So it really is kind of rolling with the punches. And we're doing now, like, used a new Lego because we got into it because the tariff stuff was so volatile. I wanted to bring in more used games because you don't get tariffed on used games. So what do you, like, for you guys, what do you consider your, I'm assuming, like, game slots, the escape room game slots, that's your big thing. And then with your retail section, what do you try to do there?
For our retail section, I think that it's hard not to just echo what you already have come to the conclusions to of knowing that you can't really function as a game store, and it's more of a lifestyle store of making it a place where a certain type of customer could always come and there's gonna be at least one thing for them.
Yeah.
And for us, investing more and more into our retail wall has only gotten us more out of it. It's like we had to hit a certain threshold in the number of products and the product mix that we had, and then we actually saw a return on it.
Yeah.
We had at our old location for 5 years, we did relatively well with our retail side, but it was all only games because that's what I thought that we'd want to sell.
Right.
We had some puzzles, we had some wooden puzzles that did decently good. But the mix of what we have now is much more focused, much more everything we want to be medieval fantasy related or adjacent, touching it in some certain way. So whenever you come into our shop, it seems like it is a curated experience for you to look and browse through. Now there's a reason for you to stop and actually like smell a candle and like think a little bit longer about the purchase or what you may or may not want to do before the escape room.
And then the two of us are right next door to the middle school.
Kaiser, yeah.
Yeah, so you kind of pick stuff that you know those middle school students will like. We carry a lot of like Japanese mystery items because they're at a price point where the kids can afford it and they kind of like the gamble. So, and then you said you were staging stuff in your retail section so it could be seen by the kids as they go home.
Yeah, so our retail wall is the right facing, so as they're leaving school, they're walking right past it. We used to have a skeleton in the window that would wave at you as you walked by. The extremely little ones like that, the middle schoolers, not so much. He was memed on a lot, I think. Yeah, not as cool. So now we have different products in there, and also whenever we bring our dog Charlie in, that absolutely makes the kids stop and want to come in. And we've actually gotten photos with our dog.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. And they call him King Charlie, which
That's
he is, because he sits on the throne and everything.
Well, that's kind of like, you do have some top categories when you start, right?
Yeah, we had categories. I would say we tried to focus mainly on board games. We had puzzles and Kia, what would you say if there's any other categories? Those are the main two.
I think, yeah, when we started it was that. But I feel like the main categories we try to hit now are like escape room board games, local games, and then like general puzzles and stuff, and then that lifestyle side. So I guess we have
that's true. That's true. So we do have some escape room games that are just purely escape room. There's a vampire one, which is definitely adjacent, but there's also, I think, Escape from the Starlight Express, which is just pure murder mystery, which I really enjoy. But it's not necessarily touching. It's the escape room factor though, and it's an escape room box game, so it's nice to hit on a different need. Every genre definitely hits on a different
different itch to scratch.
Different itch. I just gotta say, for the big three, at least from what I grew up on, it's so interesting because I've hit all those categories. I played each of those. I don't know how typical that is for players to kind of graduate and mosey on through. I know that certain categories and hobbies will only see players in there for so long. Like the average Magic player might only play for an average of 2 years, and then they're out of the hobby for a little bit, and then they'll come back, and then they'll go.
That's a thing to talk about in future too, like the life cycle of a customer and where they are. Because when somebody gets into a new hobby, they spend way more money.
Let's get right into that. I think that's an awesome next episode.
All right, that sounds like what we can do then. So
we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, bye.